tits, bitch.
Hello, fiends and fiendettes. Welcome to episode 66 of the best horror podcast on 7voltmedia.com and the world. Scream Fiends. I'm your host, Alex, and with me once again is Russ.
Hey, everybody.
And joining us for the first time in almost a year, Jason.
What's up, guys? I'm back.
Part of the 7volt Media crew. Last time Jason was on was Tucker and Dale, the Tucker and Dale episode. Do you remember what episode that was?
It was like 35 or something.
Wasn't that like back in December?
Something like that.
I think that was back when I was on medical leave, which coincidentally, I'm also on medical leave once again.
Hooray. Also on the Old Boy original versus remake episode. We were planning on doing a Jeepers Creepers episode with you at some point.
At some point, yeah.
But we've got some Jeepers Creepers news. But
Yeah.
you're already throwing me off. This is your first time. Shit. God damn it.
Just keep going.
All right, I'm fine.
You're good.
If you're just joining us for the first time on the show, we talk about all the things going on in the world of horror. And if you're a long-time listener, you know we oftentimes don't follow by any sort of guidelines, rules, or books. But we have a book. But in any case, we don't follow by anything because this show is just awesome the way it is. We don't want to mess with it too much.
Yeah, we don't even need rails.
Yeah.
If you start off the rails, you can't derail.
We're like, what is that, monorail without the mono?
Just rails.
Yeah. We're not
Hover, magnetic
We're a bus.
hover train crashing into the Nile.
What are you talking about?
Oh, man.
I'm trying to tie this into Egypt.
Oh.
Are you saying that I'm fucking Arabian?
Yes, you are.
Oh.
Follow us on Twitter at ScreamFiends. Let us know what you're watching, what we should watch, all that good stuff. Let us know what kind of pizza you like, what kind of Chipotle you love, because we love Chipotle on Scream Fiends.
Except for today.
Good Chipotle.
Today sucked, man.
Today's Chipotle was off.
The worst. The absolute worst.
But
I'm telling you.
it'll be good next week.
Let's hope.
If it's good.
We need
next
our old
week-
crew back.
I know.
It's all brand new crew there. They don't know how to make the Chipotles.
No. It was like cold.
They don't know how to warm the meat.
But I will compliment them on the amount of rice and meat they put on.
They
my
did
burrito.
load it up quite a bit.
I had a lot of steak on my burrito.
Yeah. A lot of this stuff, we don't need to be talking about Chipotle.
We got a couple movies to talk about.
Find us on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, you found us. Congratulations. You are a winner.
What are we giving them?
Nothing.
They are
What?
getting this.
Subscribe
This
on
day I won.
iTunes and Google Play. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/ScreamFiends. You can donate if you would like, but you do not have to. All of our content will always be free, but we love your support. Get us better equipment, better Chipotle. Let us go see as many movies as we would want to see.
Yeah.
Get me out of this dank dungeon.
Get Jason out of here.
Yeah, pay for his medical bill so he doesn't come on the show anymore.
Yeah. I'm begging you.
All right, we have quite the show today, so let's get this thing started as we always sometimes do. Russ, what have you been watching, playing, etc., etc., etc.? Actually, maybe we should start with the guests. Let the guests go first.
Sounds good to
Guests honors. Jason, what have you been watching, playing, etc., etc., etc.?
Well, to start with the etc. Besides
Hold
the
on.
movies.
Hold on, let me interrupt you right now. It's been close to a year,
Yes.
if not over a year.
2 seasons at least.
So you can include anything you've done since then related to horror.
Yeah.
Because we talk about enough Dark Souls on this show.
No, I wouldn't do that to
Russ
you guys.
talks enough Dark Souls on
I'm
the
gonna try to
show.
bring up Dark Souls and everything that I do.
But
I'm bringing up in my review this week.
Oh, Christ. To keep it relevant, it's actually a really short list. I went out the other day to my local GameStop and I picked up a couple of video games. One of them being Dead Rising 2
oh,
for the PS4.
yeah, we started playing No Man's Sky, and then
Yeah.
I got bored, and
Oh, that was a good 15 minutes.
yep, and then you started playing. Dead Rising 2.
Good game. I have the first one. I played a little bit of it, and I kind of put it down. And this was back when 360 was the thing. And so I stopped playing it, and I was actually watching some YouTube vids, and I'm like, dude, the fuck am I doing? I need to get on this game. So I went out, picked it up for PS4, and dumped a good 3 solid hours into it, and I need more. I need more zombie slashers.
Do you don't have a Xbox One, do you?
I do not have an Xbox.
All right, because I was gonna say Dead Rising 3 is a good It doesn't have that time limit part of it, but I mean, gameplay wise, I think it's a lot better than the first two.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
remember the first Dead Rising being very slow by comparison. I'm used to playing games where the mechanics and the camera speed, it's very crisp, it's very smooth, and it's very repetitive, very very fluid. And the first one felt a little bit more choppy between attack swings and the animations and everything.
Well, that thing was cooking Xbox 360s too, because you'd have to
Oh,
keep it
yeah.
running. So I remember people coming into my game crazy with my Xbox broke. What were you playing? I was playing Dead Rising. I'm like,
Because you can only save on the benches. So if you want to stop, but you haven't saved in a while, you have to
I
let
didn't
it run.
play much of it, but is there a sweater vest zombie in that game?
I'm sure there is.
There's got to be a reference to the fucking sweater vest zombie.
Yeah, there's got to be.
You can't have a zombie apocalypse without a sweater vest.
But yeah, the Dead Rising 1 and 2, they feel a lot more arcadey.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about not being able to sprint. Not having a sprint.
That's also my biggest complaint with the game, that you can't sprint, but
Yeah.
getting from point A to point B, I actually see that it's not necessary. It would be more of a quality of life than anything else. It's still a great game, and I'm looking forward to getting the platinum in that game.
Yeah. Have you seen Dawn of the Dead?
The remake or the original?
Oh, the original.
I have only seen the remake.
The one with what was that guy's name? Who else is in
Ving
it?
Rhames?
Ving Rhames is in it. Yep.
The dad from Modern Family?
Yep.
Phil?
Phil Dumfries. You saw? That's the version you saw? That sucks. You should go watch the original.
With the runners?
Oh,
We'll have to do a Dawn of the Dead episode.
Oh,
I think we did.
Original versus remake.
Yeah, I think we could do another one of those.
Yeah.
Did you guys already do that one?
I thought we did Dawn of the Dead.
I don't think so.
We did Night of the Living Dead.
We did.
Yes, I remember
Yeah.
that, yeah.
That was good.
Oh, boy.
So we'll get to all of the Deads at some point, just doing periodically.
Yeah, just throw one in a month for the next
Yeah.
couple months, because there's a lot of the Deads.
Hmm.
But then we can do some
Well, so we can do an original versus remake of Dawn of the Dead, and then there's a new Day of the Dead coming out soonish, I think. They remade Day of the Dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah.
Watch Diary of the Dead.
Oh, terrible. Maybe we won't do all of them. I don't know. Anything else?
Oh, actually, with one other quick quip, I have been playing a little bit. Was Plague Inc.
I wanted to pick that up because it was on sale probably about a month ago.
So I bought this 2 years ago, and it was good back then. It was right after it got released, and I picked it up, and it was fun. And I reinstalled it over the last few days, and they added a lot of new stuff to unlock the other things in the game. You start out with bacteria, and you make your disease, and your goal is to mutate your disease in such a way that you infect and kill off everybody
in the world.
7.3 billion people before they get a cure to eradicate the disease, and then you can unlock viruses, fungus, protozoans. And since I originally bought the game, if anyone has the game and you're looking to go back to it, they've since added 2 new bonus features that you start with at the very beginning of the game. First one is vampires. Who gives a shit?
I love it.
Okay, people, for Alex's taste.
I love it.
There you go. The other one, which might be more towards Russ's taste, the simian flu. Planet of the Apes.
I kind of love it.
I like them both.
Yeah.
So you can use the simian flu or the vampires to make your disease spread.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, so this isn't like this makes apes super smart and then they start.
It does.
Oh.
Yes. You start out with I haven't played it yet, but my assumption would be based off of how the vampire one works is with the monkeys you start out with your Caesar.
Yeah.
And then you spread it to other apes, and then you build your ape army and you kill the humans.
Oh my god, I have to get this game.
That sounds pretty fun.
I have
the
to.
The vampire scenario starts with you as a single vampire, and your goal is you kill people to gain DNA so you can mutate and become more powerful. And then you also have to worry about the Templar, because the Templar will cleanse you and your vampire nests.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
So it's a fun little $15 game.
I suppose you're playing it on PC though.
Yeah. If you're going to get it on console, get it on console. Doesn't matter.
Well, I'm saying I know PC has a lot of that stuff before console, so I don't know if the Plague Inc. on PS4 has
I think
that stuff.
I think it does.
I would hope so, because that's what I'm getting on it. And we need some vampires. And some Caesars.
Caesar vampires.
Oh, God.
Watch out for them
Caesar
vampires.
vampires.
Caesar vampires.
Andy Serkis is a vampire.
Andy Serkis? Andy Serkis is a vampire. I want that movie now. I want Andy Serkis as a vampire in the movie.
TM.
Dracula 33 and a third.
So, yeah, that's pretty much all I've got as far as anything horror related.
You seen any horror movies lately?
Outside of what we're about to talk about today? No.
Goddamn, son. Russ, what have you been watching, playing, etc., etc., etc.?
I've been playing Zelda.
God damn it.
That doesn't count.
That just horrifies me. Doesn't count as...
Zelda's better than Horizon. It's better.
Nonsense.
I'm triggered.
It's better. I watched Phantasm this weekend.
Ooh. You know, I have yet to unpack my Phantasm collection.
You should just give it to me then.
No.
I mean, if it's been this long since you've opened, you probably don't need it.
I just have way too much shit I have to get through.
That's not true.
No.
No, dude, there's always too much stuff to go through.
Just give me that. I need to watch the second one now. I like the second one. I don't remember seeing the third one. Maybe I've seen the third one. But I like the second one. I like the first and second one for sure.
Yeah.
I want to see the newest one.
Ravager? Yeah. Looks good.
But that's really all I've done. We got through our last episode of Ash vs. the Evil Dead Season 2.
We are done with... We're all caught up, I guess you could say.
Technically, I haven't seen the first season.
And
Wow.
I had a shitload of spoilers.
Yeah.
It's... I don't know where they're going to go from here.
I don't know.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be good. But Bruce Campbell's new book is out now. Got to pick that up.
Oh, what's that? What's it about?
It's an autobiography.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I almost want to watch Burn Notice because of him. But I've never been interested
I could never get... Even with him in it,
Yeah.
I've
I've never been interested in that show. I don't like the main guy's face. It bothers me. It's not that he's ugly or anything. It's just something about the way he looks.
Yeah.
Just like I can't watch that show.
You play any more Sundered?
Mm.
No.
Zelda.
Nonsense.
It's a disease.
That's a really good game.
Did you watch the newest episode of Room 104?
No. I heard that Mr. Todd was in it.
Tony Todd.
And was it scary this time?
No.
Okay, I'm probably not going to watch it then.
It's weird.
Okay.
It at least it's more weird. Well, I don't know.
The one with James Vanderbeek was weird. But
Yeah.
it's not good. No, it wasn't. The problem is that first one, like, it's at the bar, right? And then that one came out and it was, like, down here. So it's just like, I mean, you got to climb up quite a bit.
Well,
to,
see,
like,
the second episode stays relatively grounded, even though it's a little goofy. It stays a little grounded. This one goes almost to the point of like bizarro, like comic, like just it ends with a punchline essentially.
well, yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
I'll check it out.
Yeah,
They're only 25 minutes long. So.
yeah.
I thought about watching it, and then I remembered the James Vanderbeek one. I'm like, I'd rather run around in an area and not find anything in Zelda than watch this show right now.
Yeah, listeners and viewers, let us know what you think of this show, Room 104 on HBO. Because I think the general consensus is we don't really know what to make of it so far.
Yeah,
Like, the first episode was really good, and then,
just kind of.
yeah. I mean, they're not bad, they're just not what that first episode makes it seem like it's going to be like.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like goofy, like ghosty shit the whole time, and it ends up, first episode's got like a weird ghost demon kid, and then the second episode is like, voyeurism.
Yeah.
And I mean, you get to see some boobs in it.
Mm. The third one is more like cultish type thing, but nah. At least Tony Todd's in it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good
Yeah.
thing.
Yep,
We'll have to get to Candyman this month.
for sure. Probably next week.
What have you done?
I finished The Man in the High Castle. And okay, so I have some sort of like empathy for the one of the main characters. He's a Nazi, and his family is Nazis, obviously.
I love them already.
And like, but they were American. He fought on the American side, and then Germany dropped the bomb on Washington D.C. And for whatever reason, he flip-flopped. But you can tell like he kind of has some good in him still. So like I feel for it. Like
It's like he's like the Jamie Lannister.
Sure. Does that make me a Nazi sympathizer?
No, that makes you a humanist.
I don't know.
But he's a Nazi.
I mean, does it seem like he's gonna turn tail again, or like turn coat again?
Well, I mean, he's clearly like
Is he
for
conflicted?
the Nazis.
Is he conflicted though?
Not really. Not
Alex?
about being a Nazi, I don't think.
Alex, let me ask you this. What is it that draws you to him? Is it his Nazism? Or
Well,
his
the real answer is that it's because he's the guy from Dark City.
So no, you're not
Which
a
guy
Nazi
from Dark City?
The main guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I can't think of his name, but
Me neither. But he's got dark hair.
Yep.
And those like crazy eyes.
Yeah.
I like that guy too.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
his
that's
name.
probably the main reason, but it like makes me feel weird because it's like these people are like straight up Nazis, but like I like them. I like their characters.
Well, then the show's doing a good job trying to like create. Maybe they're trying to create the sympathy for this group.
Yeah, I mean clearly that's what it's
So,
meant to be that way.
I think they're having the intended effect on you. So I don't think it
Good.
makes you a Nazi sympathizer.
Cool.
Considering they're just fake actors,
Well,
anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, are you currently a Nazi sympathizer with like what's going on?
no.
Okay, then
I would say
think,
not.
I think we're okay then.
Yeah.
I think
No,
you're
I
all right.
didn't. No, don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not.
Can I push the envelope a little bit here?
We don't have any envelopes.
Well, then
Show's a train wreck.
What were these for then?
Those are postcards. They don't go in envelopes.
Patreon supporters at $10 a month or more. No, $5 a month.
$5 a month.
Yeah.
We might be changing those goals.
Yeah,
too.
we're gonna reflect,
Yeah.
possibly change up a bit, but
Yeah.
those postcards will probably stay at $5 a
I
month.
think that
Yeah.
could work.
But I
Yeah.
have a serious question, Alex. Back
Yes.
on the whole Nazi thing.
Sure.
You have a haircut like one, and you're dressed like one right now.
How am I dressed like a Nazi? Well, okay, Nazis did have a nice fashion sense. I'll give them that.
What are you talking about?
Have you seen their uniforms? They're fucking badass.
Nazi uniforms?
Yeah.
Are-
They're all black and shit.
Well, I mean, black is a nice color. Or
Yeah.
absence of color.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can we stop talking about Nazis? It's making me uncomfortable.
Sure.
Otherwise, I started watching The Handmaid's Tale, which is not what I expected it to be. Like, I was really hesitant on starting it just because...
What is it?
Okay, so basically, and the cool thing about it is it doesn't really give you the entire story, like, right off the bat. It kind of drips information on, like, what happened, but it's post-apocalyptic, kind of. But, so, it started with, like, women started becoming infertile, or, like, if they did get pregnant, they would lose their baby, have miscarriages, have deformities, whatever. So then, like, seemingly overnight. Well, so the way that she put it's the girl from Mad Men, Peggy.
I didn't watch Mad Men.
Okay, but she's the main character. So the way she explains it is like basically they were all asleep and then this all occurred like under their noses, basically. But it seems where I'm at right now, I'm only a few episodes in, but it seems like this cult type military coup thing happened. They took out Congress, bombed Congress, and then claimed it was terrorists. And then they suspended the Constitution. They said it was only going to be temporary, but it wasn't. And then, yeah, they basically took over. Everyone became a part of this cult. And now there's like these different classes. Like, so the main character is a handmaiden. And what they do, they all have to wear these red dress cloak things.
Okay, I'm seeing the imagery now.
With white bonnets.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. Now.
Yeah.
Who the main character
Yep.
is. Okay.
And they are like the rich people who have infertile wives. They get them into their homes to conceive a child for them. Like the husband literally fucks the handmaiden.
But why don't they just use a turkey baster?
I don't know, because this isn't Don't Breathe.
Don't breathe.
So yeah, and then there's like women that cook for, like, are like the housekeepers, and yeah, it's really fucked up. But apparently, like, Canada is free, so I don't know. That's just what I've heard. I haven't actually gotten that far in the show, but yeah, it's a really cool show, like really cool alternate history type show. So if you have Hulu, check it out. If you have any reservations on watching it, just do it. It's great. Otherwise, I beat Hellblade. Horrifying. If you're a horror fan, you're going to love it. Just the way that it messes with your head, like it makes you feel like you're going crazy. Just the imagery, the false imagery, the voices going on in your head. It's awesome.
I'll try that out, yeah.
Yeah, other than that, that's about it. We got some news.
Bum, bum, bum.
This is going to be a long-ass show.
Grab your popcorn.
You remember have you heard the whole story about the 1996 Island of Dr. Moreau.
Dr. Giro?
Dr. Moreau. Island of Dr. Moreau. So this guy, Richard Stanley, he was originally tapped to direct. He basically created everything from the ground up for this movie. And then at the last minute, the studio didn't like the direction it was going. They wanted Marlon Brando in it. They wanted Val Kilmer in it. And Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando demanded all this stuff. And long story short, the movie turned out to be shit. And Richard Stanley was fired. And it's a really crazy story. Like, he stayed on the location where they were filming, but kind of snuck onto set and all this shit. Like, wore one of the masks, one of the creature masks, and was like actually in the movie, but no one knew it was him because he was wearing a mask. But in any case, it seems like we might actually be getting Richard Stanley's version of Island of Dr. Moreau. He says it's in pre-production, and he either wants to make it like a few different movies or like a 6-part TV series. So
I don't know. I think the 6-part TV series would be the way to go.
That's what he was saying too. Like, just because he'll have more freedom, and I mean, with his experience with a studio last time, that would make sense why he doesn't want to mess with that anymore. But I think it'd be cool, just even if it's not good, just the fact that he'll be able to finally make his vision of Island of Dr. Moreau, since it was just like taken from him.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, I think most things like this need to be. I think most movies should just stop being movies and should just be 6-part miniseries instead.
yeah.
Everything should be done that way. Well, I guess not everything. Like Annabelle doesn't need to be done that way.
No, not at all.
Don't Breathe. I mean, some of them are good. It's just movies, but yeah.
That's been a very common theme lately with a lot of mass media outlet as far as TV and cinema goes. A lot of movies would be better as TV series, and then a lot of TV series would be better just as a short, condensed movie.
Yeah, and with Netflix and Amazon and Hulu, with all their original works they're putting out, like, they have a track record of them being more are good than are not, I would say.
I mean, they get a dud here and there.
Yeah.
Like Netflix and those Adam Sandler movies.
Sure.
But
Did you ever watch any of those?
I watched part of that one where it's like I think it's like a spoof on the Magnificent Seven.
Oh, yeah, I almost said
Hateful
Hateful.
Six or something like that, or no?
No, that's Hateful Eight.
That's a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Respect it.
It's something 6. Like
Yeah.
the Ridiculous 6 or something.
Yeah, I think that's it. The Ridiculous Six.
I don't know.
I think you're right. I didn't get through it, and I'm a Adam Sandler apologist, and I couldn't watch that. Like, I'll watch the shit out of Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Waterboy, Big Daddy.
What was that dramatic movie that he did where he plays Shadow of the Colossus?
That was
Wait, what?
Reign Over Me.
Yes, REIGN,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yep, and Don Cheadle's an old school friend of his, and then the psychologist tries to make they're trying to help him come out of it because his family dies in the Twin Towers attacks, and so he plays. And the director liked the game Shadow of the Colossus because it's like him taking on these colossus, it represents the buildings killing his family, and so there's like a whole thing to him playing Shadow.
Yeah,
of the
that's like
Colossus.
his coping mechanism, playing Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah,
That's how he decompresses
Yeah.
for years.
that's a great game.
They're remaking it.
What? Can't just make shit up.
Yep.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
No.
Russ.
Not just like an HD like refurbish. They're like actually taking the whole game and redoing all the assets and all that.
Where
That's
were
cool.
you during E3?
I don't ever watch E3.
Yeah.
Oh,
I media blackout myself on all that stuff because I don't want to get too excited for things because like this happens now. I'm like, on the inside anyways.
BBC is remaking The Birds, as like a TV drama movie. I would assume it's just going to be a movie because how could you make a show out of birds attacking people?
I mean, Hitchcock did.
Is this supposed
A
to
TV
be...
show?
Well, I mean, a movie.
Well, yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah. Is this supposed to be like a spoof on that old movie with the birds, or
Birdemic?
That's what I'm just looking up now, and that I just want to make sure that was the name of it.
Birdemic?
Birdemic is what we should do one of these days. I can't believe that movie is an hour and 45 minutes. Have you seen
Yes,
Birdemic?
I have seen it, and it is
I've seen bits and pieces.
terrible.
Of it.
Hanging out with my family.
No.
Gonna have ourselves a party.
No.
Hang
We're not
out.
doing that movie.
Hanging out.
We're not doing that movie.
It's like an hour and a half of watching that guy like drive and park.
yeah, not doing it.
Oh my god, we watched that movie too many times.
But I guess it's going to be based more on the source material rather than Alfred Hitchcock's movie. So, I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
All right. Tell you what, Russ and I will do that while you go and I don't know, go do something else.
All right.
Come on, watch Birdemic.
Ugh.
There's a
right.
Birdemic 2, how about that?
You remember that double XXX movie we watched? We
Yeah.
did an episode. I'm lying. I don't know what it is.
I don't remember what episode it is either.
But
32 maybe.
I'm not lying that we did it, but I can't remember.
We liked all but like we both walked away from it not liking the first one. Or no, because the first one was like the depressing one.
Yeah,
And
the
we
box.
That was when we ended up talking, but that we talked each other into liking that one the most.
But Saint Vincent, that was the one she did. The birthday party one.
Mm-hmm.
She is doing her version of the picture of Dorian Gray. And it is not going to be a male Dorian Gray. It is going to be a female Dorian Gray.
Okay. I know very little about Dorian Gray.
It's where he has a painting of himself, and the painting gets older, but he stays young.
Oh,
He's
okay.
constantly young.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
That was episode 43.
Ah.
In between Munchies and Train to Busan. I feel like it was older than that.
Yeah. Wow.
We did Train to Busan in March. God, fucking time, man.
Whatever. Yeah. I don't think either of us liked the birthday party one.
I remember thinking it was funny, but like the other ones were just better.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it had a cool, almost like music video type vibe to it.
Because it was the only one that was like humorous.
Yeah.
And I think it came right after that depressing the box
It did.
one.
It did.
But
So yeah, the juxtaposition there was kind of jarring, but
yeah, I don't know. I just think it was the weakest of the four, but I don't think it was bad. I just looking back on it, it was fun. It was more funny. It was more of a humorous kind of a
Right.
thing. But
yeah, the whole like making it a female Dorian Gray, like that doesn't.
I don't care about that. That's fine.
I don't care either, but it's kind of like, why? What is the reasoning behind doing it? Like, is it
To bring more female representation to a movie. I mean, that'd be my only guess to why they're doing that, to make it.
I'm not gonna think too hard about it.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think. I know a movie we're going to talk about now is there was a gender swap in a movie we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah. Jeepers Creepers 3
Where'd you get those papers?
is gonna be. It seems like it's gonna be stealth released into theaters September 26th.
Well, it's not that stealthy if you know what day it's coming out.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen a trailer. We haven't really seen anything about it, and then all of a sudden it's going to be...
The last I heard about Jeepers Creepers 3 was probably almost 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I saw something recently about it, but it was more about how like they're running into problems with something like that. Like it wasn't going to come out or something. But I hope it's terrible too.
Well, it's going to have the original, the sister of Justin Long.
Oh, really?
Long's character. She's gonna be like the main one. They form like a Jeepers Creepers,
Fan club.
yeah, essentially, and go hunt down.
Oh,
What was he called?
I don't remember.
The Creeper?
I don't. Oh god, it's been like 10 years since I saw that first.
I know he
I
has like a
liked
name.
That Justin Long doesn't survive in that movie.
Yeah.
Not because anything against Justin Long, just it's cool where the main character doesn't make it sometimes. You know, it's like, oh,
It's
shit.
turned into a skin suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll check that out.
That sounds like something we need to hit up Reddit for.
I think it's something we need to spoiler cast.
We will do, yeah. If it actually comes out in theaters around us, we should. Jason, you should come. We'll do
Spoiler
a
cast.
Jeepers Creepers 3 spoiler cast.
I have a job too, guys.
Oh, whatever.
Quit.
Okay.
So, if you've been following us, we just recently put up our Annabelle Creation spoiler cast. And there were a couple trailers that we didn't talk about that were preceding that movie. Death Wish. Eli Roth's Death Wish with Bruce Willis.
What do you think about Bruce Willis being cast as?
You know,
the old-
so there were all these like pictures of Bruce Willis with a mustache.
yeah. See, where's the mustache?
But he's there in the trailer. There's no Bruce Willis with a mustache.
It needs
What
a
the
mustache.
fuck?
He needs a mustache and hair.
So what do you think? Do you
I don't
think
know.
it's like
I think it's a miscast.
a bait and switch?
It's a bait and switch miscast. They could have gotten somebody else.
Yeah, because he's really like
What?
it's John McClane.
It really is. It seems
Doing
like
a
John
Death Wish
McClane
movie,
doing
yeah.
a Death Wish movie
What if he has a mustache and shaves it?
in the movie.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Like maybe
They make a joke out of it or something.
yeah, like maybe it's like a flashback.
I think it'll still be fun, but I would have rather have seen like somebody that looks closer to Charles Bronson. Don't say Tom Hardy. He's already in a movie called Bronson, which you both need to see.
No, I was gonna say who is an old boy? What's that guy's name?
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Josh Brolin.
Yeah, I think he could have
Could
pulled
do
it
it.
off, actually. That
Yeah.
would have been good. That would have been a good
If you
casting.
want
Because I'm
the movie
picturing
to
him
be
in
bad,
No Country for Old Men. Is what I'm thinking
Yeah.
of. See, I'm picturing him but with that look,
Yep.
but, not Country Boy. Yep, Josh Brolin would have been a better casting.
Yep.
that's gonna be a bad movie with.
Come on,
either
Eli
of them.
Roth. I like the old boy.
What?
Oh, dude, we're gonna get into a fist fight today. I can feel it.
You liked Old Boy?
I like the original more, obviously, but I didn't mind the remake. It was just sort of like, what's the point of this? Plus, we did the whole episode on it. Go back in the archives.
Yeah, really go back and listen to how much I wanted to hate Alex.
So the newest thing seems to be VR tie-ins. There's just recently the It experience was released. I don't know if I saw it on my Facebook feed.
I didn't see that.
You can do it like on your phone, like control the camera, and it's like a night version of that scene with the kid with his boat, and then Pennywise is in the drainage ditch or the drain
Yeah.
thing. That's what it is.
Sure. Hey, you know what, though? We missed a couple more previews.
I didn't even talk about. Oh my god, I'm just completely Happy Death Day.
Happy Death Day looks like it could be interesting.
Yeah, so normally we would not even bother because it's PG-13, but
I'm kind of interested because it's like Groundhog's Day meets
Final Destination.
Final Destination.
That
Yeah.
trailer has been all over YouTube.
See, this is the first I had heard of it.
Yeah, same here. I hadn't
This
heard
is
of it.
probably going on week 2.5 now for me.
Really?
Where with all my time at home now, I spend a lot of my time on Reddit and YouTube and Twitch, and I can't go more than 2 YouTube videos without seeing a trailer for this movie.
So what do you think?
I tune it out.
But I mean, your initial reaction, like when you first, did you even watch it at all? Like
you went 5 seconds and hit skip, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I actually, okay, to be fair, I did watch like half the ad once just to give that person their ad revenue. It's a neat concept. I don't think it's going to be executed very well because it's kind of like a Final Destination meets Groundhog's Day.
That's why I want to see it.
Yeah.
But the problem that, again, you said it yourself, the problem that I initially think of when I think of this is it's PG-13. PG-13.
That is...
There's not gonna, it's not going to push the envelope.
Right. See, I always say that, but then immediately I think of The Ring and The Ring 2. Like, they were both PG-13, and just their atmosphere and...
Yeah, I mean, because the worst thing here is going to be there won't be as much swearing. There's only going to be one fuck in it, and then there's going to be maybe the gore. There won't be
minimal
tons of
gore. Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm not thinking this is going to be like this really terrifying thing. It's going to be more like a thriller kind of a thing.
Yeah, you know.
But I think there's a degree of humor to it, though. I know we were kind of not on the same page with that. But
well, because there's the whole like she knows she can survive, so she almost has this like don't give a fuck when she's in these situations where she dies. And then there's that scene where she's like walking out of the dorm college naked.
Yep.
So yeah, there probably will be some humor to it. But just thinking about that, like the movie centers on her getting killed over and over again. So how do you do that properly without any gore?
The way like that one scene where she gets hit in the head with a bat, and as she's falling, she lands back in her bed. How they like do that kind of weird like camera trick kind of thing.
Sure, but
there's going to be a lot of camera tricks. There's not going to be a lot of CG going on.
You just won't see blood and guts.
There's going to be a lot of cut shots too.
There'll probably be a lot of like that.
But I mean, just imagine how good it would be if they did have all that. All the gore.
I really feel like there's supposed to be a degree of humor to this, so I'm okay that there's not going to be that in there.
We'll see.
But you could do the gore and make it funny. It would just have to be over the top, kind of like Stitches or something.
Or Evil Dead.
Yeah. You know. Yeah. So, I mean, if you did it over the top and practical and not CG, if you did it over the top practical, but kept it humorous, I think it'd be a lot of fun, too.
Yeah, we'll see. We are going to be doing a spoiler cast of that when it was released. Is it September or October?
I don't remember.
I think it's October 13th. Friday the 13th.
You're right, yeah. I think you're right.
That would have been a better release for Jeepers Creepers.
I think what I'm most excited for, though, is fucking Mother.
Yeah.
That shit looks scary.
We talked about it a little bit last episode.
Yeah, we saw another preview for that.
Yeah. Yeah, on the big screen especially, because last time we just watched it on the computer.
I think it was even your phone.
Yeah. Oh, it was on my phone, yeah. So, yeah, seeing it on the big screen with, like, the volume of a theater.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it looks incredible.
I want to do a spoiler cast for that.
Oh, we will. Sure. Definitely.
So we got 3 spoiler casts coming up in a tight period.
October is going to be nuts. We got Saw. We got... Oh, I can't even think. We got tons of stuff going on.
We're going to have to get Russ that movie pass.
Yep.
No.
Just for the month of October.
Yeah, just for October.
But I'm still... I suppose it would be... Can you cancel it after a month?
Can I get my free trial?
That'd be nice. 1 month free trial.
But so funnily enough, back to the whole VR tie-ins. Funnily enough, a movie that was recommended to us, Don't Knock Twice.
Oh, Don't Knock Twice, yeah.
Is getting a video game tie-in. That's you can play it standard, but they also have you can play it VR.
The video game?
Yeah.
Wait,
PC, PS4, Xbox One.
Don't Knock Twice. That's not the Keanu Reeves one.
No, that's what we watched instead of watching Don't Knock Twice.
That's right. Okay, we watched. That was Knock Knock.
Yes.
Don't Knock Twice was the. Did we watch that one?
No.
Oh, what was that one?
Well, now we have to
because
they're making this
video game, VR video game.
Which is weird because like I had never heard of Don't Knock Twice before we got recommended to watch it,
and we never went back and watched it. Oh, we're back.
No, and now
sorry.
And now they have a freaking video game on it.
That's pretty weird.
So
let's do this.
All right.
We got Candyman, Don't Knock Twice. And I have another a friend at work wants us to watch. I don't remember what it's called.
Lastly,
A Cure for Wellness.
Oh, yeah, I did want to see that. Gore Verbinski.
You can tie in all three of those movie titles together in some way.
What?
Don't Knock Twice. The Candyman has a cure for whatever.
Candyman has a cure for wellness. Don't Knock Twice. I don't know.
You guys are high.
Lastly.
Finally.
You know that movie, The Witch, that we sometimes talk about hating all the time?
I distinctly remember you guys throwing your arms up in the air and just screaming, and that was really the extent of the explanation of that movie.
I remember this is what kind of like when you were talking about wanting to do a horror movie podcast, and then we started talking about how we don't like The Witch, and you're like, oh, you like horror movies, and I showed you a picture of like a couple of the things I had.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think you're the guy.
Yeah, you show me your Suspiria
my
copy.
My limited edition Suspiria copy with all the little posters in it.
Yep.
Little postcards. Yep. I was like, yeah, I like horror movies.
I got down on one knee right there.
Yep.
And from betwixt the clouds.
Anyways, we watched The Witch.
What then?
Okay, so we did an episode on The Witch, and I think we kind of came around a little tiny bit on it. We still don't like it at all, but came around a little bit. But that director, now I can't think of his name, but
who cares?
Yeah, he made The Witch. Fuck him. But he is making
Nosferatu with the girl from
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah.
They're reteaming to make Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Now, this could go one of two ways. It could be Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman.
No, it can't be that.
Or it could be Shadow of a Vampire with John Malkovich.
It's gonna be more like that. It's not. They're gonna make Nosferatu. It's a remake of Nosferatu.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying as far
it's like
as
the bald vampire with the fangs.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, what I'm saying is, Shadow of a Vampire was frickin' just boring. It was atmospheric, but it was so boring.
But wasn't that about the character like going
Max Schreck?
Yeah, It was about Max Schreck, kind of like
losing himself in the role. Yeah.
But
I mean, it tried to be like a horror movie.
Sure.
And I have this feeling.
I think the guy can direct well. I just don't like The Witch. I don't like The Witch.
It's boring.
It's boring, but I think he could. That makes me scared now.
That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, if he's doing a remake, he's got a good base. I think he'll be. I think I'll give it a.
Well, of course we're gonna watch it.
Well, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. It'll probably be all right.
Yeah, we'll see.
It'll probably be okay.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I think I remembered what the second movie was that was worse than The Witch, though. The remake of Martyrs.
Oh, yeah.
Was that the other one?
I don't know. I think I might have said I would rather watch the remake of Martyrs.
I can't remember.
Or maybe, and then you changed my mind. I can't remember.
Well,
was it Burial Ground? No. I think I would rather watch The Witch than Burial Ground.
Really?
Yeah, I did not like Burial Ground.
I love Burial. It's got nipple jerky in it.
Okay, wait.
That's nipple jerky.
That's not.
That's Michael.
Oh, okay, never mind. I love that.
You're gonna hate on my favorite pastime, Alex.
Michael.
All right, that's all I've got. So, we have a 3-way battle royale this week. Not only are we doing original versus remake, we are doing original versus remake versus remake.
Original versus remake versus reboot.
Yeah.
Okay.
When he says it like that, yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Original versus remake versus reboot.
And who was the dummy who came up with this idea?
That guy. Blame
guy.
him. Blame Jason for all the problems in the world.
Pay for his medical bills.
Maybe. Okay, so the last idea I had was Old Boy, and then I came up with this fucking monstrosity. And for 2/3 of it, I was okay.
Well, hold your horses.
Okay. There's no horses.
Whoa.
Now,
Only camels.
with the recent announcement, it's been a while. It's not really recent anymore. But with Universal trying to revive its classic monster lineup, they started with The Mummy. So that will be our movies of the week. And we will begin with 1932's The Mummy.
It's a good movie.
Before we run off on that, I do want to make an amendment to this whole idea. After I suggested that we do this, Alex said, which one? There's 3 of them. And I said, what? Hold the phone here. And I'm like, holy crap, there really is 3. And then upon closer inspection, I found out that there's actually 4. There's a 1959 with Christopher Lee, God rest your soul, as the Mummy.
We might have to go back and do that one too. I want to see Christopher Lee
I
as the
am
Mummy.
so done with mummy movies.
So, anyone out there who has any feedback or any love for Christopher Lee, big shout out to the big guy.
Wicker Man.
This one is starring Boris Karloff.
Is it your neighbor?
I hope not. Boris Karloff as Ardith Bay and Imhotep.
Emotep.
Zita Johann as Helen. David Manners as Frank Wemple. And Arthur Byron as Joseph Wemple. It was written by John L. Balderson.
That's important.
From a story by Nina Wilcox Putnam and Richard Shayer, and directed by Carl Freund. Freund?
How do you spell
Freund?
Freund?
Freund.
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 Frowned.
it? Russ.
Frowned.
All right, so it starts out with like a overlay of the Scroll of Thought.
Thoth.
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 Yes, the Scroll of Thoth, explaining that this thing is like the... What is the...
It's a spellbinding scroll in which the spell Isis used to bring Osiris back from the dead.
Yeah, it's basically like a revival.
It's a Phoenix Down.
Yeah, something like that. And then we get to 1921. It's like a museum,
It's an excavation site.
Yeah.
but it's also like a museum, right?
No, it's an excavation site.
It's their dig site.
It's like a camp
Yeah, it's
outside the excavation site.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like that sign tells they're working for like the British Museum or something.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's why I thought.
And they've unearthed a mummy.
A mummy.
A mummy.
Yes, the sarcophagus of... Well, they've opened up the sarcophagus.
They don't know who it is yet.
No.
They don't know who it is yet. They're doing some preliminary work, but he brings in Joseph Wendell, right? Wemble?
Old man Wemple.
Yeah,
Wemple.
Sir Joseph Wemple.
Sir Joseph Wemple brings in a friend who believes in all the lore, and he's an Egyptian. I'm taking it. I mean, there was Egyptians in that weren't actually Egyptians.
It's hard to tell.
It was 1932.
There was a lot of mumbo jumbo, and this guy believed the mumbo jumbo.
But yep. And then they realize that there are some markings on this mummy that aren't there. So they realize right off the bat that he was buried alive. And they could tell by like muscle contusions that he struggled in his bandages.
Yep.
And then the words that were written in the like upper, I guess, be right side were scratched off so that they wouldn't the spell wouldn't work. So
So it was cursed.
to live like basically he's a living death, kind of like he's stuck.
Yeah, he was cursed in life and afterlife.
And they make jokes that maybe he was getting it on with one of the ISIS virgins, or
Well, that's not exactly how they phrase it, but
yeah, but that's what they were getting at. Was it Isis? Is that the name of that goddess?
Yes.
yeah. He's getting too gay with
Yeah.
that is what he.
So it's clearly Boris Karloff as this mummy, but like I don't know, they've kind of made him up in a way so like I don't know, he can't move. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty good makeup effects.
I thought it was pretty good,
Yeah.
and I like the whole fade in and out transition and stuff they did. But yeah, he looks like a decrepit old zombie.
Yeah. And then they find a chest that has a chest inside of the chest.
That would be
Yep.
called a cache.
A cache.
But they call it something else even. I can't remember the word they
I
used.
don't know.
But on that cache, that said, "Do not open, or you will be cursed."
So he opens it anyways.
Well, yeah. So the old man and the old other guy go to talk about it, and then the young guy's in there, and he opens it, and then he starts translating the scroll in there, and Imhotep wakes up. Sorry, the mummy wakes up.
Yep. And he starts to shamble out of there.
And it makes, I like this, so it makes the other guy, I can't remember his name,
No.
it makes him go mad, though.
Oh,
He goes cuckoo bananas.
The young, yeah, I can't remember what the fuck his name was, but the young guy.
Yeah, goes kooky. But then the old man comes back in and sees the mummy gone, sees him laughing, and then it goes 10 years later.
Dude literally snaps like a twig.
Yeah,
Brain just shuts down.
he's laughing maniacally.
Yeah, it was a really forced laugh.
Yeah.
But
it was.
But I appreciate it.
Yeah, and then you just see like the trailing scrap or
Bandages.
bandage,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they're like moving out the doorway.
Yeah.
So the mummy escapes, and yeah, then it goes 10 years later, 1932. Wouldn't it be 11 years?
31.
It was 10 years.
The movie came out in 32, but that setting there was 31.
No,
Yes.
no, the sign said 1932.
Did it?
Yes,
Yeah, and it started in
1921.
10 years. You can call it 10 years. What if they were there in November and then the 10 years later is in May?
I'll just concede because I don't want to
All
argue
right.
this anymore. We have 2 more movies to get through.
Yeah, then it's the younger Wemple now, right?
Frank.
Yeah, Frank Wemple. He's with another guy. Do you see the only names
He's a minor character. He's literally
Yeah.
only in the movie for this scene.
Right. They talk about how his dad found this big find, and the guy that was with him died in a straitjacket. He went crazy. And then they see this Egyptian figure coming in from the distance, and it turns out to be Ardith Bay.
And you can tell right off the bat that Ardith Bay is La Mummy.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like caked on, makes his skin look super dry.
He's got stucco for a face.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. And he comes in and he gives them a piece of a Naxanamun.
Anaxanamun.
A piece of her funeral equipment.
Mm-hmm. And he tells him he knows where to find him.
Yeah, where the where the site of Naxanamun's
His mistress.
burial site is. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, and then they find her.
They find a necropolis.
Yep, and
essentially.
then there's a ballroom dance scene, and we get introduced to Zeta.
Yep. Who has very far apart eyes and a very sculpted marble. Marvelous. She looks like a marble statue.
Yeah, she looks like she was sculpted for sure.
Her face looks like a fucking cat.
Yeah.
With the way her eyes are spread out, she's got that huge fucking forehead.
Meow.
Yeah.
But so we meet her, and oh hey, our spider's back, dude. Sorry.
Yo.
But
they so before that party, they go into the like entrance to this whole temple or pyramid, burial site, whatever you want to call it. And there's these seals on the sides of the doors. I think they call them the seal of the 7 jackals.
Yes.
you're correct, and it hasn't been broken yet.
Yeah.
That's right.
So they're all like excited because no one has stepped foot in this room since they sealed it up. And it was like
3,700 years.
3,700 years, yeah. So yeah, then they have the party for their big find. Everyone's dancing. Helen's
Smoking.
Yep.
A lot.
And then is it Frank that comes out to talk to her?
I think so, yeah.
No, it's Old Man Wemple.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh yeah, he's there.
I can't keep track of any of these guys.
I know.
They all look alike.
Yeah.
But then what happens?
I don't know, because at this point I
doesn't she-
started looking up pictures of Katie Minx.
Porno. But yeah, I think it's like, I think they this is when, what's the guy's name? Azith
Oh,
Arnith
Ardith Bay.
Ardith Bay's at the museum looking at her casket or whatever.
Anoxis and Moon.
Anoxis Kaboof. And then the museum director comes and goes, "Oh, who did you hear the closing bell? I'm sorry, I must not have noticed. I'm Ardith Bay, and are you such and such?" And he goes, "Oh, you're Ardith Bay, blah, blah, blah. Here, come into my office, blah, 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 talk." And then he's really short with him. Then he goes back. But he starts chanting out there, and then she seems to get bewitched on
Yeah,
Moon.
he notices her first, though, right? Ardith Bay? Because he's like, he sees her, and he's like, Anoxis and the Moons.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he starts citing the incantation, and it resonates with her because she, during the conversation she has with Old Man Wemple, she tells him that she's got some old lineage to Egypt and Saudi Arabia.
Oh. So maybe she's a descendant of Anoxis and the Moons?
Something like that, probably.
Why-
Which they explain later on that she is.
Yeah.
Ah.
Because Anoxinamun's like spirit keeps going from person to person throughout the last 3,700 years, and
No, okay.
he finally finds her. But what we get from here on out, because I think we should speed this up a little bit.
Yeah, probably.
It's just a struggling back and forth between Helen and Anoxinamun, and they're trying to keep her safe, but they keep failing. And he seems to get the upper hand for a little bit, but then she actually turns on him towards the end there. And she doesn't. She realizes she is also Helen and doesn't want to give up her,
Yeah,
other
she
life.
she says, "I'm alive." Like,
Yeah, because they're gonna sacrifice her body and they
Yeah.
burn her other corpse so they can bring her back as like a mummy essentially, but so they can live eternally. But she turns on him and then prays to Isis, and then Isis zaps him.
yeah, like raise it. So it's the statue of Isis.
No. So she prays to Isis. Isis grants and honors her prayer, and then it receives the incantation needed to send Imhotep back to the underworld.
That's why we have you on the show.
Imhotep.
To which, funnily enough, though he was cursed in the mortal life and then he was cursed in the afterlife, he actually would have just ended up in limbo, which is the worst.
Yeah. So yeah, Hotep loses, and then she goes on to live happily ever after with Frank.
And Frank's dad dies.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
he chokes him.
Ardith Bay like does a little. He has this like reflecting pool,
and so he
that can see into things,
like a seeing pool.
Yeah,
and he sees him like trying to like burn the scroll, and he chokes his ass out. Then his henchman goes in, takes the scroll, burns some other paper, so they think they burned the scroll of thought that it's going to help him do what he's trying to do, but it's all a lie.
Yep.
Which the scroll ends up getting burned in the end, anyways.
Yep.
So then Ardith Bay ends up basically melting, disintegrating back into a skeleton.
Yep, and it's not as good as when it happens in the Indiana Jones movies, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So that was the first movie. It's as fast as we could do it. Real quick, do we want to give our initial thoughts?
Let's give our thoughts individually on this one.
Go ahead.
What's the rating system again? I forgot.
So we got
It's made up.
Yeah, you can call it whatever you want, but what we generally do is we have the worst thing you can get is I'd rather watch The Witch is the worst award you can get.
That's the worst.
Well,
I think actually even worse than that because Annabelle was worse than The Witch. If you say I'd rather watch Annabelle, that's probably the worst.
Sure.
So, but we'll say for now the worst thing you can give it is I'd rather watch The Witch.
Yep.
The next level up would be I'd rather watch it than The Witch, but that's about it. Then there's the silver
That's like
bronze.
baseline. That's like baseline.
Right.
Yeah, like meh.
rudimentary.
You know,
kind of
like
shoe in.
you're not going to turn it on purpose, but you might not turn it. You might not turn it off if it's on TV.
Yeah.
Bronze. Then there's the bronze, silver, and gold seals of approval at that point. So like gold would be like The Shining, right? And bronze would be like Friday the 13th Part 3.
Sure. There is a fabled platinum, but we've never come
The only way you're
across
going to
it.
get that is if like Naomi Watts makes out with that other girl you like. That's
Famke Jensen.
Famke Jensen and Naomi Watts, if they make out in a movie, even if it's just even not necessarily horror, it's going to get a
And then Kate Beckinsale walks in and joins.
Yep. So and then Alex
Platinum seal of approval.
So I'm not going to go with any seals of approval. I'm going to pick an arbitrary percentile based on Jason's box of fuckery.
Fair enough.
And I'm going to give it a solid 85% approval.
Dang.
That's like a C or a B even.
That's almost an A.
That is almost
So that's like
an A.
That's almost
which
like
is
a
what
silver almost.
Zeta Johan's boobs were rocking there.
What boobs?
Thank you. I rest my case.
So almost like a okay. So
I mean,
all right, 85% is good.
taking into consideration time, technology, writing, how much talent was actually available at the time, taking all of that stuff into consideration and how it measures up to what we have today, I give that motherfucker a solid 85.
You know, probably my favorite part of this movie is when they have a close up on Ardith Bay's face.
Yes, when
Boris Karloff's face.
and his eyes are glowing, kind of, and like,
yeah, how do you
I
think
love
they
that.
did that? Do you think they
So, what I
shone
think they-
lights specifically
Yes.
like in his eyes?
Here's my guess is what they did. They backlit him to create that aura.
Yep.
Right, and then like they somehow create like a tunnel vision, but then get real close to his face without doing like a fisheye lens. But they get real close to his face and then probably shine a light into his eyes.
Ah.
Or like at his face to make his eyes do that.
Yeah.
First of all, I had to dilate his eyes because his pupils were fucking huge for those scenes. And I actually think they used candles.
Yeah,
Because the way the lights were reflecting, you couldn't do that with an incandescent bulb. You'd have to use an open flame of some sort. So either a candle or an oil lamp.
Was cocaine legal in 1930?
Yeah,
Maybe that's what he was.
I think
Just had
so.
some cocaine for his headache.
cocaine, but so there was I for me I would give it I'd probably give it a bronze. I mean, it's a classic. It's good. I enjoyed it. I would turn it on purpose and watch it, like especially on like Halloween time to watch some classic horror.
Yeah.
I like the story. I think it does a good job telling the story. I think it does a good job considering what was available then.
It was paced very well, especially for a 1 hour and 13-minute movie.
The only actor that really gave me any issue, I'm like, your acting is not that good, was the crazy guy in the beginning. The guy that
Sure.
goes, the guy that
The
cracks.
maniacal laugh. Yeah.
He's the only one that, but I think his character sucked too. Like, I mean, not that it was written badly or anything. I didn't like his character,
Mm,
but then I didn't care for how he acted it either.
sure.
But no real gripes. I think it's fun. I think that'd be a good one to like show the little guys maybe as they get a little bit older, because it's not gory or like too gory or anything.
Crazily enough, there is some gore though. They have
Yeah.
a spear through a person.
Yeah.
I thought there was something else, but maybe not.
Another spear through another person.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
And
think
there's actually blood.
yeah. I'll give it a bronze for trying to go there too. Even
That's mighty kind of you, because
Yeah.
I would just rather watch it than The Witch.
sure.
Nah. I don't know.
Do you think if you had just watched that and not the other two we're about to talk about, that you may have liked it a little bit more?
Maybe.
Sure. I mean, because when I take it we're going to go into the 1999 one next.
We are.
Oh,
Next
baby.
up is 1999's The Mummy.
Brandon Fraser.
This one's starring Brendan Fraser as Rick O'Connell, Rachel Weisz as Evelyn Carnahan, John Hannah as Jonathan Carnahan, Arnold Vosloo as Emotep, and Oded Fair as Ardith Bay. It was written by Stephen Sommers, Lloyd Bonville, and Kevin Jarre. Directed by Stephen Sommers.
I'm excited for
This movie is long.
Yep. And I mean, let's just talk. I mean, it's essentially the same story where Emotep is trying to bring back Anoxina Moon.
Yeah, except holy shit.
There's
Namoon's outfit. When you originally meet her,
It's just painted out.
This is
goddamn.
this is pre-2000 PG-13.
Yeah.
This was before PG-13 became the baby grade.
Like it's a nude suit without the nipples.
Yeah, the only thing that's covering her up or concealing anything is her hair.
Well, I think her
I think her hair's even out of
her
the way.
hair's back. My
Yeah.
guess is what they
Oh,
did was
shit.
they put some kind of a prosthetic over her actual nipples.
Yeah.
And then painted her.
Yeah.
Yep. But again,
Because that's how they figure out that she was being not good with
Yes,
the Pharaoh, because they find a
yes.
bit of the paint smudged.
Yeah, because
And I didn't watch this movie, and I remember that.
yeah, no, that's right.
Emotep's like grabs her to kiss her and smears her shoulder paint, and then was she like married to that
No, that was her
Pharaoh?
dad.
Oh,
Yeah, she was a virgin. She was not to be touched or adorned by any man. She was like his sacrifice to Isis.
So, like, one major difference I'm noticing right now is the character of Ardith Bay. He plays like a protector, and they're trying to keep this sealed. Right?
Yes.
He plays as part of this
Yes.
protecting group. He's trying to keep Emotep sealed away, as opposed to actually being Emotep himself.
yep. So yeah, long story short, Emotep gets sealed up alive.
With carnivorous scarabs.
Beetles, yeah, scarabs.
The worst.
And they introduce the Black Book of the Dead.
The Necronomicon.
Yeah.
The Necronomicon?
No, that's what wrestling move I do.
All of Emotep's like priests are also mummified alive.
In the same fashion.
No, I don't think they get the Beatles.
I don't think they get the Beatles either, but they're all buried. Yeah, they're all
Buried alive. They all have their tongues cut out.
Yep. And then it jumps to 1923 in Homenoptera.
The City of the Dead.
Yes.
Yep.
It's a war zone.
And I think it was the Medji, I think was what they're called.
Magi.
Magi.
Yeah.
They're the ones.
Like Magi almost.
It's like this big battle between French troops.
Whatever the heck they are.
I believe they're French.
Yeah, they look French.
And all these Magi. Brendan Fraser is leading the French.
Against the Magi.
Yep. And they see all these Magi coming, and what's the guy's name
Benny.
Benny is like, he's like the comedy relief throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
So yeah, this movie. Yeah. So yeah, they're. This is so as they're coming, this like the sands start kicking up and shit, right?
Yep.
And so
At the feet of Anubis.
at the feet of Anubis, yeah, and so they lose the fight.
Well, no, Brendan Fraser gets like, everyone else scatters or gets killed, and Brendan Fraser is like backed into this corner, and then all of a sudden they all kind of get scared and flee, all the Magi, and he's like, well, what is this? And then he looks, and yeah, it's a big statue of Anubis, and then this big like sand face comes out of the ground.
It was a beautiful sand face.
Yeah.
It's Emotep. But then we get to Rachel Weisz's character.
Yeah, it's 3 years later in Cairo.
Mm-hmm. And she's was she
Quite
continuing-
literally a sexy librarian.
Yeah, but it wasn't her father like a big
Aristocrat
okay.
who donated a shitload of money to the library and the museum in Cairo, and her mother and father are now deceased, and so she's spent her whole life as a scholar
Okay.
and is now currently at this museum as a librarian. And we were introduced to her just being a very intense bookworm.
Yeah, she's trying to organize some books, and she's up on this ladder. And then all of a sudden, she's like, the ladder is straight up, and she's kind of...
Stilts on a ladder.
Yeah. And then she ends up knocking down the bookcases, and one by one, like dominoes, all the way around the room, they all fall over and knock each other down.
Yeah, this movie is more of like a nod to almost like a Indiana Jones. So it has horror elements, but I wouldn't consider it a horror movie.
Not per se, yeah.
More of a thriller.
It's an adventure.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
call it like
It really is an adventure. And I think it absolutely nails the whole adventure kind of action thing it's going for.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
And then I don't know, she must hear a noise or something, and she starts calling out like Abdul, Muhammad, Bob. I just thought it was really funny. Like,
There's a lot of light moments in
Yeah.
this movie, and they're actually done pretty well because they actually pertain to how their character archetype would react in that situation.
yeah,
Especially once you get further into the movie when they're a little bit more established and you have a little more understanding of who they are as a character.
yep. And instead, it is her big brother, Jonathan, and he has made a discovery, but not really, because he actually thieved a key. And I don't think they know it's a key at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like this box that springs out these arms, and yeah. And he says he got it from someone that is now in jail. Turns out to be Brendan Fraser. He, why was he in jail?
I don't know. They were going to hang him.
They just found him out in the desert, I
Well,
think.
maybe, but
the
all, what is the fat bald guy's name? Do you remember what his character's name
He's
is?
the warden. He's a warden.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
But he says something to the extent of like, he must have had a good time.
Oh, okay. So Evelyn meets sees Brendan Fraser's character. She asks the warden, "What is he doing here?" And he says, "We don't know. He was just, saying that he was looking for a good time after we found him in the desert."
Yeah.
And then she starts talking to him, and he ends up kissing her, and she gets like
Flustered.
Yeah, she gets offended by it, and then the warden and
Not
his
offended.
goons kick the
She's
shit out
totally
of Brendan
into it.
Fraser and drag him off. And Evelyn's like, "What's gonna happen to him?" And the warden just looks at her and says, apparently he had a good time. And then it goes to the scene where he's being strewn up in the gallows where they're going to hang him.
And they do hang him. Well, she tries to barter for him, like, because she tells the warden that they have the key, and Brendan Fraser, knows where the location of the site is. So they bicker back and forth, barter. He wants whatever percentage, and then they end up hanging Brendan Fraser anyways. So his neck doesn't snap, so he's just like dangling there.
Because I don't think he wanted in on the deal either. He didn't want to go back because he had seen what was out there.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Brendan Fraser doesn't have any say in this whole situation because he's hanging by his neck.
Yep.
But they eventually talk him into letting him go, right?
Well, they break him out of there or something?
Yeah, she barters with the warden, and they agree to 25% of what's in the necropolis.
Yeah.
And then after he gets cut down, they intermittently have a conversation of why and what have you, and it gets thrown into very minor detail. Long story short, she tells him, I saved your ass, you take us to the city of the dead, and you take us back, and we're even. And so that's why Brendan Fraser takes them back to Hamunaptra.
Yep, and we get this long journey. They have a boat ride where some assassins come in and try to take them out. The boat starts on fire. They escape. And then there's like two sides. Benny shows up again with these Americans, and I think it's a British archaeologist. Curator. So they're on one side, and then it's Brendan Fraser and all of them, Rachel Weisz, Jonathan, on the other. And it's almost like a race to Hamunaptra.
And then the Magi are trying to stop all of them.
So they get to the Hamunaptra, get in there. They end up finding the chest within a chest, the cursed chest. But I think where that chest is, there's an acid trap that ends up melting. Like,
this is the American team, mind you.
Yeah, ends up melting the help they had. So then they get the chest within the chest, and the Book of the Dead is in there, the Black Book.
Yeah.
They finally they find the sarcophagus of Imhotep, use the key to open it up.
Yeah.
And he wakes up.
And he's juicy.
Yep.
He was a little gross.
Yep.
He eats the help to regain his skin. I know that.
Yeah, he sucks the. No, I'm I'm getting the movies confused.
You are getting way ahead of yourself, sir.
Gets into human form, causes plagues, locusts, all this kind of stuff.
Chases them back around the towns and stuff.
Yep.
Like they go back to the cities or whatever.
Yep.
He's trying to bring
scared of cats.
Back. Yep. His mouth distends really far.
Really good CGI.
For 1999, that actually held up pretty fucking good.
We had The Matrix in 99.
Except for I watched The Matrix Reloaded last night with my wife. There's the fight scene in the park with all the Agent Smiths.
Yeah. Not good.
Bad news.
That was really bad. I think I could see where back then it was awesome. Because it was, the Animatrix had come out and you got some of those animated features and stuff, but like you could tell that it was animated.
It was not Hugo Weaving.
Benny becomes an
usher.
Yeah,
he becomes an usher to Imhotep.
Mummy form of Anaximoons gets
oh man, we're fast
revived.
forwarding.
Yeah. Well, I'm done with this movie.
No, it's okay. So fast forward, they get trapped in the city. They get out of the city through the sewers. The one head curator guy back at the beginning of the movie dies. After getting out of the city, they hire a plane. Plane crashes through a sandstorm from Imhotep because Imhotep's a badass and tries to eat them while in sand form. And they end up going back to the necropolis, go down into where all the treasure and shit is. They go past the treasure, and they're like, hey, Imhotep, we're here, and we're going to kick your ass. And Imhotep's like, no, I have servants. And so the servants and Brendan Fraser get into a long, drawn-out, massive sword fight where eventually Jonathan and Evie start fighting Anaxaramun's dead, alive, animated corpse. And Jonathan is sitting there actually trying to read the hieroglyphs to take back the Pharaoh's Knights so that way they can send dipshit back down to the underworld, in which they get the Book of Horus,
which is like the white book of the dead.
the gold book. Yeah.
Gold
So
book.
you have your black magic and your white magic. White magic is the Book of Horus. They use that book. They summon the Pharaoh's Knights. Jonathan takes control of them, and they end up using the Pharaoh's Knights to kill Anaxaramun's reanimated corpse. And then Evie takes the Book of the Dead and banishes Imhotep's soul back to the underworld, which technically would actually leave him in limbo.
So
Because,
and she's almost the Helen character in this movie, where she's actually tied to the past too.
Yeah.
Yes. So that happens, and then Brendan Fraser stabs Imhotep in the gut, leaving him for dead, and they all run the fuck out of that tomb because the ceiling starts collapsing. Because while all of this is happening, Benny, our resident doofus, decides
Traitor.
he's going to start pilfering and pillaging all the loot he can and activates one of the booby traps. So they all escape, and Benny ends up dying to a whole bunch to a swarm of scarab beetles, and Brendan Fraser and Jonathan, Evie, all right off into the sunset after reacquainting themselves with
Ardith Bay.
Ardith Bay, because he ends up teaming up with them in the necropolis, and he ends up escaping after he sacrifices himself for the greater good.
Huh. I loved it. That was like hitting the fast forward button.
That was good. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that movie.
It's a fun movie. It's just it's over 2 hours long. It's
And it's fun though. Like I could sit and watch that, but I mean, horror related. Horror. It has horror elements.
Yeah.
Because there's a mummy and monsters and things, but it's not scary.
It has a couple jump moments. It honestly does have a couple jump moments, but after seeing it, 2 times, you're not gonna get those jump moments. So
yeah,
Sorry.
it's more catered towards young teens
It's
than
more,
anything else.
Yeah, it's more Indiana Jones than the Mummy.
Yeah, for
just-
sure.
It's and I thought it would have been a better Indiana Jones movie than the fourth one.
Yeah, it was. It is a better Indiana Jones movie than the fourth one.
Yeah, but I don't know if I feel like rating it. I liked it, but I don't really consider it horror.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say I like it.
Abstain.
I'm gonna say I like it. I guess if I were to apply our rating scale to all movies, I'd give it a bronze. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I would plug that in and watch it on purpose. But it's no like, oh my god,
Sure.
So
Yeah,
I'd give it a bronze.
I would go with bronze as well. What about you?
I'd give it a solid 80%.
Less than.
Less than the 1932.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm gonna get you some thick rim glasses.
All right.
Give me some fucking old Coke bottles from back in the day.
The time is nigh.
Oh God, John Cena, get out of here.
Our final contender of our original versus remake versus reboot is 2017's The Mummy. This one's starring our man Tom Cruise.
I like Tom Cruise.
I do too.
I don't like Tom Cruise.
I like Tom Cruise in almost everything I've ever seen him in.
I like him besides all that Scientology stuff.
And that's his personal shit.
Yeah,
He can do whatever.
who
As long as it
cares?
doesn't hurt anybody, I don't give a shit.
Yep. He is Nick Morton. Sophia Botella is Aminette. Annabelle Wallace as Jenny Halsey. Jake Johnson, who I frickin' always kept thinking, oh, that's Nick from New Girl.
New Girl, yeah.
As Chris Vale, and Russell Crowe Punch-a-Lot as Dr. Henry Jekyll. It was written by David Koepp, Christopher McQuarrie, Dylan Kussman, John Spates, Alex Kurtzman, and Jenny Lumet.
That's a lot of writers.
Sure is. And directed by Alex Kurtzman.
You fill me in here. Am I to assume that when there's a lot of writers, you guys make a joke about it?
No,
We haven't really watched anything with a whole
like
lot
not
of...
with like 7 writers.
Yeah.
Jeebus.
So, right off the bat, they have come up with the moniker Dark Universe. So this is in the movie. They've pledged this is the thing. Dark Universe, that is what this new Universal Monster reboot is. What they're calling it, Dark Universe.
Is this thrown at the very beginning of the movie?
Yeah, it's like you know how Marvel has the comic book pages flipping and then
Yeah.
it says Marvel.
Yeah.
And this is like a title card, Dark Universe. So it's like
Okay, yeah, I remember
Dark
that now.
Universe
See, now,
production.
I understand that this is supposed to be the first movie, but actually it was tried twice before this.
With the Mummy?
No. Well, they did
with Dracula.
Stop.
Dracula.
Dracula Rising.
Dracula.
Or Dracula Untold,
Dracula Untold.
I believe is what it was. And then
Yeah.
but there was also the Wolfman or whatever with Benicio del Toro.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that was a Universal movie or not, but I would imagine it probably
I think it was, yeah.
But it seems like they tried this twice now, and,
Yep.
and it has failed twice.
Mm.
I didn't see the Wolfman one, but I did see Dracula Untold. No, I'm saying it wrong. Dracula Untold.
Dracula Untold.
And I didn't mind it, but it wasn't good either.
Would you watch it on purpose?
I don't think so. Well, no, I don't think so. I would rather watch it than The Witch.
Okay. And then it starts with a quote. The quote is, "Death is but the doorway to new life. We live today, we shall live again." By someone. It's said. I didn't write that part down. Did you write it down?
I did not write it down, and after seeing that, I didn't care to write it down.
Good quote. Oh, there's more. "We shall live again, in many forms shall we return."
Reincarnation.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Some reincarnation, something or other.
Psalm.
Sure. And then we get some Templars. They are burying their dead. And they put this like little crystal type
ruby.
deal. Ruby. It's not a ruby.
That's what it says in the synopsis I read.
They're lying. It's a crystal.
Is it red?
Yeah.
Probably a ruby.
It's the Philosopher's Stone.
Oh. Please.
You know?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Fine.
Well,
whatever.
in the thing that I read, it just said, I'm a not.
Well, it's the Philosopher's Stone. And
Where was it explicitly stated that was the Philosopher's Stone?
I'm making it up.
Thank God,
I'm
because
probably making it better.
I am.
That's
That's the whole point.
Yeah, he's really trying to sell me on this guy.
You're the 8th writer.
Yep.
Here, they brought you in for a rewrite.
And then it cuts to England, present day. They're digging. They have one of those big drill machines from. What movie was it that? I feel like it was a Die Hard movie. It's like one of those huge drills with like 3 drill bits that dig out tunnels.
Oh, yeah.
Or
It was a
James
land
Bond.
drill. It was a
James
land
Bond.
drill.
Right?
No, I think it was Austin Powers.
Oh, maybe that too.
Because he's going to like launch the nuke in the middle of the...
No. It was James Bond. The one with the guy The guy that's going to be in
Javier
Mother.
Bardem?
Javier Bardem with the melty face. Yeah. Doesn't he fight through the tunnels and then there's one of those things?
I thought it was Goldmember.
Maybe.
I love gold.
In any case, that thing busts through the tunnel and it's the crypt of the Templars. And then Russell Crowe comes walking in through, and they've made the discovery. They found the Philosopher's Stone. And so the whole thing was they're supposed to be digging for train tunnels, but they found this tomb. Whatever. They found the Philosopher's Stone. And then it goes into Princess Amenette's whole backstory, and it's pretty similar to Imhotep's entire thing, where... Is it even Imhotep?
No.
Imhotep is the girl this time.
Well, yeah, it's Amenette.
Yeah.
But isn't there a guy, too?
I'm sorry, yeah, her name's Amenette, but she is the Imhotep in this movie.
Okay, so what happens?
I got it.
What happens is they're telling the story about Amenette and how she has this forbidden love with this with someone after she goes and kills her family.
Well, okay, so
right.
there's a little more to it than that. She was supposed to be the
heir.
next in line.
Yeah.
Which is why she kills her
Well,
family.
yes, but there's more to it. She's the next in line, and then her dad ends up banging his wife or mistress, whatever, and they have another kid. I guess it couldn't be a mistress. Could it?
It might have been his
Can
wife.
Would a bastard count as an heir?
Yeah, probably.
Yes, a bastard would count as an heir. And
Not in Game of Thrones,
well,
right?
that's Game of Thrones. And
Well,
way,
Jon Snow is now the king of the North.
But he's also not a Snow anymore.
Is he not?
Jesus Christ.
No, he's not. They revealed it last season who he is.
Not officially.
Oh, okay.
It's
Not-
still a
nobody else knows what it
hypothesis.
is,
Yeah.
Oh.
And they haven't really revealed it.
I stopped watching the show.
In any case, she's no longer the heir to the throne, so she gets mad and kills everyone.
Yes.
Um,
And then she has a forbidden love with someone, and in order to carry herself and him for all eternity, she makes a pact with Set, the god of death,
yes.
and was granted an immortal dagger with the Philosopher's Stone
On the
embedded in it.
tip, not the tip,
The pommel.
the mount.
The hilt.
Yeah. Is it on the very bottom?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's the pommel.
the pommel.
Thank you, resident sword maker. and she ends up stabbing herself with it, but failing to bring Set to the mortal world.
Well, because she was supposed to stab the guy as well, and the
Yeah.
guards come in right as she's about to stab him.
And they interrupt the ritual.
Yep, and they end up killing that guy, and they take her, mummify her alive, do the whole
They do the hokey pokey and
cursing her in this world and the next. But they end up putting her in a sarcophagus filled with mercury.
in a tomb. Where did they fucking bury her? This is one of my biggest gripes with this movie, by the way, everyone.
Where?
Iraq.
Oh, yeah, they take
Yeah,
her all the way.
Mesopotamia.
No, because they don't want her anywhere near
Egypt.
Egypt, so they take
Yeah.
her all the way to...
It's considered Mesopotamia
yes,
at the time.
Mesopotamia.
Yes.
Yep.
Which, like I said, one of my big gripes with this movie.
What's wrong with that?
Egypt had no rain in Mesopotamia. Ever.
So?
Ever.
So?
They had no business being in Persian land.
They brought her there because of that.
Yeah.
But they weren't even allies with them.
Doesn't matter. They wanted her off their land.
It doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense that they had this giant, elaborate Egyptian burial site for betrayers and mutiners.
It wasn't that big. It was kind of big.
It was at least 300 feet down below surface level.
Okay, in any case.
The rabbit hole gets fucking worse.
So then we get present day Mesopotamia. Tom Cruise and Nick are
In Iraq.
in Iraq, and they are
Ex-soldiers.
well, there's
Soldiers of fortune.
no,
Mercenaries.
they're supposed to be like surveillance scouts.
Yeah, they're reconnaissance.
Reconnaissance.
For the military.
Yeah. But they're there for like treasure.
No, he's there for treasure.
He's there for treasure. Nick is just not Nick. Vale is just kind of along with him. He's his partner.
So Egypt does get into Mesopotamia back in 1450 BC.
Snap. Oh, snap. That's why they have 7 writers.
But they later on they state that that tomb hadn't been opened in 4,000 years, which would predate that.
That's true.
All right. Whatever. The what do you call them? Are they rebels, terrorists? What are they?
Who?
Natives.
Natives come in. There's this big old
Oh
battle.
God.
Got their machine guns. Tom Cruise is blasting away, throwing grenades.
Calling in airstrike.
Calling in, well, Vale calls in an airstrike. But yeah, so this airstrike comes, boom, blows up half the place. The natives scatter, run away. Then it turns out this airstrike unveiled
the tomb.
the tomb.
And this is like one of my biggest initial problems with Tom Cruise's character. He's supposed to be a military subordinate, and yet he's not.
Because he's Tom Cruise.
His character is rebelling against his training and what he's supposed to be doing, and not only is he doing that, he's also endangering the lives of many civilians, and he's acting very selfishly.
I don't think there was any civilians there.
Yes, there were.
Were there? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
So that's one of my biggest initial gripes with his character.
All
he
right.
acts selfishly, and he does things that his.
Well, that's kind of his.
supposed to
That's
do.
kind of his character, though. That's like kind of what's funny about his character is that he is this like self-centered sort of whatever. But so in any case, then Jenny comes in at this point, right?
Yeah, after they blow up the town and they uncover the tomb.
Yeah, then like their commanding officer comes in and Jenny is there because they've found this burial site. And then we get some tomb raiding. They go down, rappel down into this big old hole, and it's this like circular type room, and there's chains like holding down a big
Sarcophagus.
Yeah, sarcophagus in the middle of this big pool of mercury. So they figure out that the chains aren't holding it up, they're holding it down. Tom Cruise is all cocky and looks and figures out like where the ropes go and just shoots one of the ropes and the sarcophagus rises.
That's point 2 why I fucking hate him.
So awesome. In the meantime,
Don't you have any sense of adventure?
yeah,
Oh
really.
my God.
All these camel spiders come out of the works, and
There's a lot of them.
one of them bites Vale in the neck.
They're not poisonous.
Nope. Tom Cruise has like a vision at this point of Aminet. Like he's all of a sudden in the desert and he sees Aminet there, right?
I don't honestly, dude. I was so angry at this point. I actually started. I'm not joking, guys. I started blacking out parts of this movie.
So they get the sarcophagus out of the hole.
I remember that.
And they see a big sandstorm coming in the distance.
Yep, and they're already on a time budget.
Yep. So they have to hurry up, get the sarcophagus on the plane.
Uh-huh.
They all get on the plane, fly out, and then Nick's not doing too good.
Yeah.
Or Vale is not.
He did it again.
Who gives
Vale
a
isn't
shit?
doing too good at this point, and then a crow flies into the front of the plane, right?
Like
a bird goes through. Does the bird go through the windshield?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. And then, like, something else happens. I don't know what exactly, but for some reason,
Well, then a whole bunch of birds come.
yeah, like a murder,
Yes,
Oh.
a murder of crows.
like a literal murder of crows start coming through there.
Yep. Well, I think before this, Vale dies.
No, while this is happening, Vale loses his shit and ends up killing their superior officer.
Yeah, stabs him.
Yeah, he stabs him just straight up, and then Tom Cruise is like, "What the fuck?" And it just escalates and derails from there.
Well, yeah, Tom Cruise is like holding the gun and then ends up shooting him.
Jesus Christ, that's the third point where
I
lose
love
my
this
shit.
part. I love this part so much. It was hilarious.
Oh my god.
He shoots him in the stomach, and Vale doesn't stop. And then he shoots him again, and that kills Vale, and he's on the ground. And Tom Cruise is like freaked out that he just shot his friend, but he's still holding the gun. And then he accidentally shoots again, and it's just like, it's funny.
It was like kicking a dead horse.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the reason why this is my third fucking gripe is he is a trained military operative, and he fires a weapon in a pressurized cabin, which is something you don't do, which is something they state in the fucking movie.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
Then how are you going to have action then?
Yeah.
I mean, of course he's going to fire in the otherwise it's not going to be an action movie.
So then we get the birds coming through, and the plane starts crashing. It's spinning out of control. And we get this really cool, like they're in 0G, like they're floating around. And people are flying out of the ripped open plane. Jenny and Tom Cruise are... Nick are the last ones on here. He grabs a parachute, puts it on her, and throws her out the airplane. And he's left on this airplane, no parachute. Plane spirals, crashes into the ground. Tom Cruise is dead.
Or is he?
Or is he? And he wakes up in the morgue in a body bag. No scratch on him. He's all naked. Jenny walks in with a doctor, a mortician. Not a mortician. A morgue worker.
Yeah, a mortician.
Mm-hmm.
He's all naked. It's a funny joke scene. He covers his crotch and hides in the corner.
He didn't have to, I mean...
That's right. He previously to all these events, he hooked up with Jenny and just
no, I would say he had a micro penis, so it was okay.
He stole something from her, didn't he? He stole the letter that told that's why they were in that location in the first place, because he stole a letter from Jenny.
Yeah.
They talked about the location of this possible treasure.
Yes.
Okay.
It all makes sense.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Russ.
And then
I'm glad. This is way better than actually watching it.
Amunet is now alive. But she's still like a mummy version, very weak. But since the plane crashed, some police officers come to investigate this crash site. And as luck would have it,
They become a
they
snack.
have no luck.
Yeah.
Because even Amunet grabs them and sucks the life out of them. And it just like drains every fluid from their body. They instantly turn into this like
And that's what kind of how Emotep does it in the Brendan Fraser one too.
skeletal husk, but way cooler, I thought.
I'm gonna let you
So,
continue telling this horrible
Yeah,
story.
so a little disclosure. I haven't actually seen this movie, so I'm just going to take your word for it.
Yeah.
We have similar tastes when it comes to effects.
And it's not perfect CGI. Like they're really.
Well, okay. To be fair, the carcasses that she leaves behind, the work on them is actually done really well.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take that away from them. That was actually really well executed, so I will give them merit for that. But I will also give them merit in the design of Amunet for what she is and what she does and how she does the things that she does. She's a very well constructed, visually and story-wise, I actually like her character. I really do.
I do too. Like I
just hate this fucking
she's almost like to the point where you want to cheer for her.
Yeah.
But
I did.
But it could just
And I
be
do.
because of everything surrounding her. You don't really want to cheer for. But I still like Tom Cruise at this point.
Okay. Foreshadowing.
So she kind of, as she's gaining strength, she kind of has that like weird spindly spider look where she's like on her haunches, but they're like all gangly and whatnot.
It's kind of like going from learning to crawl to walk to like kind of fumble and like actually walk with purpose.
But then we learn that she can raise the dead that she just killed, and they're like her zombie followers.
Doesn't she? Okay.
What?
Doesn't she bring back the Templars at one point to fight for her too?
Yeah, but that's way later
That's
on.
like
later.
an hour and a half away from now.
All right, cool. Let's fast forward to that.
You don't have a remote. You can't control me.
So Tom Cruise like has this hunch that they need to go to this crash site, and it's in this big church. So they end up going there. They get attacked by all these zombies, and big fight scene. He's crushing skulls, like tearing off limbs, all that good stuff.
He's getting into car crashes.
Yep, so they end up getting in a car, and my favorite like comedy part of this movie occurs at this point. One of the zombies gets on the vehicle, ends up getting in the passenger side, because I think they rip off the lower half of its body, and then it comes around on the other side and is getting in the vehicle.
Oh yeah.
And Jenny starts kicking at it, but then she starts kicking Tom Cruise. And he's like, "That's my face, that's my face, that's my face," as she's kicking him.
I blacked out at this point.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
I legitimately blacked out at this point because I'm like, great, Tom Cruise in a fight scene, don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I love Tom Cruise.
Yeah. They end up going to Russell Crowe's facility.
Oh, you mean Doctor?
And it's revealed he is Dr. Henry Jekyll.
Yes.
And he's like...
And this is where the movie completely derails for me.
And then we get the whole...
Dark universe.
This is where Russell Crowe is like the... what would you call him?
He's the
Nick Fury.
Dumbledore.
He is the Nick Fury of all this. So we get all the setups for what could be the next movies. We have a jar with creature from the Black Lagoons, like fin arm. Could you tell what that thing in the long tank was?
I blacked out at this point.
It's devilfish.
There's something in like a big long tank.
This is what I remember from this scene. Is after they drive away and coincidentally drive back to the fucking church where they were, they drive away and they meet up with Hyde and friends, and they kind of like do this panoramic like view of what the fuck's going on in here, and it's like a museum of natural monsters and things that are evil.
Yeah.
And there's organs, there's limbs, there's full on creatures that are like this fucking big.
A vampire skull.
Yeah, there's a vamp skull. It could have been a werewolf skull for all we know. Depending on the iteration of werewolf, it could have been either.
It was a vampire skull.
But I'm willing to concede and say, yeah, 9 out of 10, I would say probably a vamp skull.
What was in this long box?
That's what I'm wondering.
And
What did it look like?
Almost like a long squid type thing. Like it looked like almost like a mermaid tail.
It's a fucking Cthulhu.
Maybe.
yeah, that's exactly it.
See, that's what they should do. They should make this whole dark universe, and they come out on top until the Cthulhu wakes up and just kills everybody.
And so throughout this whole ordeal, they're kind of getting like the 411 on what this organization is and what they do. They fight evil, they vanquish evil, they study evil so that way they can literally eradicate evil.
Meanwhile, Amunet is like wreaking havoc as this is going on, correct?
Yeah, she is now fully
Self-sufficient.
formed. She is humanoid looking.
And she's like Sandblast London.
Not yet.
Oh.
Not yet.
We get a peek into Mr. Hyde, because Russell Crowe says something to the extent sometimes you have to fight monsters, or what does he say? He says something alluding to like fighting monsters with monsters. I don't know.
You have to fight from the inside out, basically.
Yeah, and he has to inject himself
with medication, otherwise he turns.
And he's wearing a glove that clearly, so it alludes to the fact that if he stays Dr. or Mr. Hyde too long, then it permanently like disfigures him.
No, that glove is from where he shoots every time.
But it looks like that glove is constantly Mr. Hyde's skin.
Well, he keeps it covered up because that's the hand he uses to shoot every time. Alex, you shoot medication into your hand all the time, it's going to disfigure.
I don't know about that. I like my theory that if he stays Hyde too long, then he turns into Mr. Hyde permanently.
All the while, they captured Amunet and they're now injecting her with liquid mercury.
Yep, going straight to the veins. They got her hooked up, chained up.
Gimp style.
Yeah, but
Yep.
I think does Jekyll tell Cruz that, because like what the thing is Amunet is going to use Cruz to bring Set back.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that Set can rule or whatever.
Yep.
Yes.
And Jekyll is going to let this happen so that then he can destroy Set.
Well, he doesn't say it straight off the bat.
Sure.
But yeah, we learn that that's the case.
He makes a very rational point, though, that the ritual that they started was incomplete, and so there was no way to actually revert anything that was done before or after that. That ritual was left in limbo.
Right. And I think even in that church fight scene, Amunet she's about to do the stab Tom Cruise, but right when she goes down, she sees that the stone is missing.
Yeah.
The Philosopher's Stone. And so then she stops. But Then Dr. Jekyll learns that they have found the stone with all these Templars. It was buried with the Templars. Then Tom Cruise takes the shot injector.
They talk for a while, and then like they fast forward like a day or two or whatever it is, and Jekyll is like on the verge of turning, and he's asking them, do you want to join the compound or not? And this is also when you find out that Hoosier Tits was working with
Jenny.
Jenny was working with Jekyll and the gang, and Tom Cruise is like, whoa, what the fuck? And he gets mad and locks himself in the room with Jekyll because Tom Cruise, point number 4 why I fucking hate him, it takes Jekyll's shot and Jekyll turns.
Yes.
Causing a massive lockdown. Not just a lockdown, a massive lockdown of the compound. And Jenny's left on the outside freaking out, oh, what's going on?
And then we get this awesome fight scene between Mr. Hyde and Tom Cruise. And there's this gnarly part where...
Oh, dude, this was actually really fucking cool.
Mr. Hyde reaches up and grabs one of Tom Cruise's rib cage ribs.
He grabs 2 of that motherfucker's ribs.
Oh, like it shows his hand going up and
And it wasn't from the front. It was from the back. On. The fucking feels.
Yep.
The worst.
So yeah, they can't get out because even if Mr. Hyde wasn't crazy, his handprint doesn't work.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The tech is smart enough to know that you can't disarm the security with the turned hand. It has to be the passive hand.
Yep.
And Tom Cruise is like, I fucked up. Oh no. And so Tom Cruise is all, here's your medication. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he gets the medication back. He turns back to normal. Does Aminette break out at this point?
I don't know. Remember?
Yeah, I think she does.
What?
This is where is this the sandblasting of London?
Yes. This is
so
when
she breaks out somehow. I don't remember how. And then all hell breaks loose, and Tom Cruise and
I got it. She possesses one of the security people.
That's right.
To shut down the mercury, and then she gets strong enough she can just break out of the chains.
Yep, and then she ends up, Darude Sandstorm, all the way through fucking London.
We get our requisite Tom Cruise running through the streets.
I bet you that whole scene would have been better with Darude Sandstorm playing in the background.
Oh my god, yeah.
We have to put that in this video now.
The CGI is really bad at this point. The whole sandstorm, there's like a ton of breaking glass, and it's just it looks so bad. It looks like some of the effects from the '99 Mummy. Even.
You know what's even funnier about that is that the sandstorm from '99 looked better than this sandstorm.
That's probably close to being the truth. Yeah, it was really bad. Aminette ends up getting the stone back.
Yes.
And
reunites the blade and the stone.
Yep, and then they're back at the tomb where they found the Templars, right? Is that where they're at, or are they back at Aminette's original tomb?
No, they're back. No, because Aminette's tomb is all the way the fuck in Iraq.
Oh, that's right.
And they're still over in
England,
the UK somewhere.
Yeah.
So they go to some tomb in the UK.
I think it's the Templar tomb.
That could be, yeah. And they end up like going through the tomb and swimming, and
there's a big underwater zombies.
Jenny almost died.
She does die,
and Tom Cruise saves her.
Well, not yet.
And like he's fighting to swim through this fucking bullshit, and oh my god.
So okay, Jason is being a little bitch about this.
Yes, I am. I will admit it because it's.
But so
So it works.
So Tom Cruise gets the dagger with the stone in it. He's fighting off Aminette. She's telling him, like, let me do this. You can be a god. Power over life and death. And so Tom Cruise is like, fuck that, and takes the knife and smashes it into the ground, and the Philosopher's Stone cracks a little bit. And then he looks over at Jenny's dead body, and he's like, control over life or death, huh? And then he ends up stabbing himself in the stomach. And that
Completes the ritual.
turns him into a god. Yeah.
The god goes from their celestial planar existence, traverses whatever, and comes into Tom Cruise's body and tries to take control of Tom Cruise.
But
And
Tom
nobody
Cruise has
takes care of
control.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
Nobody
Tom-
controls Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise fights back and withstands a god and
True story.
brings Jenny back to life after vanquishing Aminette.
Yeah, what does he do? He turns her back into a like a mummy, right?
Doesn't matter. He has the power of a god. He can do whatever he wants now.
He
He's
does.
self-
She's
reason
she's
number-
now back into a
reason
curled up in a
number
fetal
5.
position.
Reason number 5 that I hate Tom Cruise in this movie and his character. He selfishly stabs himself knowing that he could bring the entire destruction of the world just so he can save one person.
You're making me love this movie.
So what I'm picking up is for Jason, you would do anything for love, but you wouldn't do that.
One person? 7.3 billion.
But so now Tom Cruise is a god. Well, he's part god, part human. And so now he's got to be like the linchpin in this whole dark universe.
So is he going to be good or
Thing.
bad?
That's a good
so
question.
You forgot one other thing.
Huh.
So he saves Jenny, he destroys Aminette, and then we go to the closing scene, which is with him and his Freudian buddy. I don't remember what his
Bale.
name is. but
Yes!
He selfishly brings his friend
Nick back to
from the
life.
dead.
If I could bring people back to life, I would bring all my friends back to life too.
But he tells Jenny
Well, duh.
not to approach him because he's afraid that he might not be able to keep whatever is inhabiting his body at bay. Oh my god, I hate his character so much.
That's pretty nice of him. Brings her back to life and
Yeah.
then lets her go.
So you've seen an American Werewolf in Paris, right? Or not?
It's been a while.
London.
I've seen American
Did you see
Werewolf in
Paris?
London. I'm not sure about Paris. I remember London because the mother from Modern Family is in that movie.
Really? Claire?
She's the one that gets her neck like ripped.
Claire or Sophia?
Claire.
The blonde?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Well, I believe it. But in any case, this movie like really made me think of those two movies with the whole like seeing the dead friend. Is it more so Paris because that's a more comedic take on that whole aspect? But yeah, it just with that whole Vale character.
I was wrong.
But in any case,
Not America. Not in London. I'm sorry.
Paris.
It's okay, Russ. I'm probably going to be wrong, and I'm probably going to get a lot of heat for this, and that's quite all right.
No, I think you're probably on the side of most people that this movie... Okay, so you obviously don't like it.
Oh,
She plays Amy French.
Oh. Okay.
yes, Alex. I don't like this movie at all.
Give it your grading system. Go ahead,
Yep.
do it.
0.
0%.
Oh, come on.
Like,
So you're gonna say that this movie you would rather watch The Witch?
I would rather commit seppuku than watch
That
it
is such an
again.
over-exaggeration.
You know
And
what?
we are known for our over-exaggerations on this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna deny, that is an over exaggeration, but quite honestly, like I actually did diligent note taking and actually looked into the expanses of Egypt, the time frame, all of that stuff. I looked into.
That's your problem right there. You thought too hard about this.
Well, I did it with the other ones. The other ones held up. I accepted. Yes, there's gonna be magic involved.
You accepted Brendan Fraser leading the French troops
to their
into battle.
To their demise. Yes, I did because.
Sure. Why not?
Why not?
It's Brendan Fraser.
Maybe they were Foreign Legion.
Sure.
They could have been French Foreign Legion. Did they have white hats on?
I think so.
With tails on, cover
yeah,
their neck?
yep.
They could have been French Foreign Legion.
Yeah.
Which could be, there's all sorts of nationalities there.
But my biggest problem with this is that it's geographical inaccuracy and its lack of properly placing anything with a proper timeline. They contradicted their own timeline in this movie, which really irritated the shit out of me. And then Tom Cruise's character, again, his archetype does not match his actions.
Yes, it did.
Pisses me off.
He starts as a selfish, self-centered guy, and then
But his background, he
transmorphs into saving.
Have you ever seen Three Kings? With Ice Cube, Mark Wahlberg, and George Clooney. You ever seen that movie, Three Kings?
No.
So good.
They're soldiers who are going after Saddam gold, and they find it, but they find a bunch of refugees and end up trying to save them at the same time.
Yep.
But yeah, they go against, their military code for some money.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, Nick Vale's character is also a soldier of fortune. He's not he's like a mercenary. Tom Cruise is the military guy. He's in the U.S. military.
Oh, but Vale is not?
Okay. If I'm reading that correctly.
So it just doesn't work for me.
See, I thought
there's so many holes in the plot. There's so many holes in his character. They don't even take enough time to lay down a foundation.
I don't know.
They don't.
I feel like for a summer blockbuster, entertaining adventure, it's not quite as adventurous as the 99 Mummy.
Not even close.
But for an action, fun summer movie, I thought it succeeded.
So
it was a lot of fun to watch.
Is this a good beginning then to a dark universe?
But that's the problem right there. As far as building this new universal monster universe, no, it does not succeed in that aspect. 'Cause it's first of all, if you have to deal with Tom Cruise as a god human for all these movies, then
we have to deal with him like that in real life.
Okay. Okay, true.
And he's not doing a very good job at that either.
But yeah, I mean,
I love Tom Cruise. I don't even care.
If Tom Cruise, he doesn't necessarily have to be in all of them. Maybe once they eventually do the Avengers type team up.
So is it gonna be Jekyll and Van Helsing fighting Dracula and
I don't know.
Frankenstein's monster?
I think Bride of Frankenstein is next. That's gonna be Valentine's Day 2018, I believe.
Oh, God almighty, save me now.
But so we'll see where they go from there. It seems like this whole dark universe is falling apart because this movie didn't do spectacularly.
No, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
I think turning monster movies into action movies isn't necessarily a bad idea, but I think because of the pedigree of these movies, if you want to call it that, they should have stuck to more of remakes with it.
I would have liked to see more horror, although this is more horror than the 99 Mummy.
Yes.
Based on how it's been described to me, I didn't see this again, so I'm not going to give it a grade, but it seems like as much action as the other one almost.
Well, it does, but there's more visually horror elements.
Sure.
It's very dark
It is a very dark movie by comparison.
Yeah.
But it just...
Especially when he shoots his buddy again by accident.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
No, this
doesn't-
movie is a remake of the 1999 version, not the 1932 version.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand them
They even have the book.
trying...
Yeah. Yeah.
I can honestly understand them trying to set up something to do with everything and throw it all together. But they just grabbed in so many directions at once. They didn't even solidify the one thing that this was supposed to be about.
They could have just what they could have done is they could have just made this The Mummy 3. They could have just had this be a modern sequel to the second movie. You know, so maybe
Well, yeah, because the Brendan Fraser movies all take
in
place
the 30s
in the way past.
Yeah, so it's just like basically the Nick character, Tom Cruise, is the great grandson or the grandson of the Brendan Fraser character, and then you leave it at that, where he follows in his footsteps. He starts off in the military like his grandfather did, ends up getting stumbling onto a different tomb like how he did with this.
Yeah, because I do like the Aminet backstory and character more than the Emotep.
That character is actually really good.
Yeah.
I like it, that had a lot of potential.
But you could have done that. You could have put that somewhere because it's all made up anyways. You could have put
Sure.
that anywhere in the timeline. This could have happened before the stuff that happened with Emotep.
Yeah.
And
Which-
so it's,
Actually, the way they talk about it in this movie, this actually would have predated Emotep.
so there you go. Then it's
Sure.
it's his story, but it's part of that. Maybe that key comes back into play. Where like the keys passed down and whatever, and he make it almost give it a national treasure like Nicolas Cage feel
God
to
damn
it. I love those movies too.
Yeah, overall, I would give it a bronze.
You'd even go that as
I would
high
give
as
it
a
a
bronze?
bronze, yeah.
I want to watch it now.
Yeah. Because it is just, if you just look at it from like a pure fun factor and entertainment factor, then I thought it succeeded. But as far as universe building, because that, like Jason said, they spent too much time like trying to build this universe from this movie instead of making it strictly a mummy movie. So
To do that, they have to go about it the way Marvel has gone about their universe.
well, what they essentially did was in the end credits, they introduced Nick Fury
They introduced
at the end of Iron Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what they did.
They do that, but they have their, you have your Iron Man trilogy, you have your Hulk movies, you have your Thor movies.
So do you have Nick fight the mummy, beat him, and then at the end of the movie, Russell Crowe comes in as Jekyll,
That would have been
and
way
he's
better.
and he's like,
Yeah, I
he's
agree.
like, I saw, we watched you take out the mummy. Your grandfather did stuff like this too, and it turns out he's a descendant of Van Helsing.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of a thing, maybe.
Yeah.
And Van Helsing fought Dracula back, and killed Dracula, but we have reason to believe that he's going to come back. And there's your Joker calling card at the end of the first.
Yeah, that would have been way better because
That
you're
would
kind
have
of
given you the almost 2 hours to build your plot and your
Then it just becomes a Van Helsing
everything.
movie, though.
well, sure, but yeah, because when you put the Dr. Jekyll as like the key to all this entire universe, like in the middle of the movie, then
he becomes like
you
that
almost
collector
forget
guy.
about like the importance of all of it.
He almost becomes like that collector guy in the middle of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Sure.
Benicio del Toro, I think, was that guy.
Oh.
Or was it Jermaine from the Flight of the Conchords?
I don't know.
I can't remember who it was. But I think that I don't think you can really do a good job. I mean, because there's not. I mean, the heroes in those monster stories are like Jonathan Harker from Dracula. It's like
Sure.
it's just a guy, and he's barely a hero. And then you have Van Helsing, which is he's known for hunting. They made movies with Wolverine about him, and I didn't like those, but You know, who do you bring in as heroes? You know, when you think of the Wolfman, who's the hero in that? When you think of the Mummy, who's the hero in that? You know,
it's I mean, I don't know if that's what they're trying to make Tom Cruise like, but there's got to be. I mean, it's got to be the Avengers. There's got to be multiple heroes.
Yeah, so I mean, they're gonna have to set up Tom Cruise as a hero. Then he's gonna have the power of set, and his whole thing is fighting off his own possession, meanwhile trying to maintain the powers or something.
Sure.
So he'll work with Dr. Jekyll against
Yep.
the Bride of Frankenstein? I mean, I don't even know.
I
So
don't know.
now, does Frankenstein end up being part of the group? Does he get dragged in? You know, because he can reanimate people?
Is it going to be a different time period? Who knows. But I do think they need to tone back on the action, like make it more strictly horror movies.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not like horror movies aren't successful.
They're like the most successful.
They're the most successful these days. So there's no reason why you need to make it an action movie.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. Get at us on Twitter at ScreamFiends. Let us know what you thought of all these movies. This trifecta.
This triple threat.
Oh, I suppose we need to crown a victor.
Oh, God.
Well, being that I didn't see the 2017 version, but I've got the premise. I've seen a modern action movie. I say I would probably give it somewhere between I'd rather watch it than The Witch and maybe give it a bronze. Because if I'm trying to judge it as a horror movie and it's that much action, I almost wouldn't give it a bronze because of that. Kind of the same way I feel.
Sure.
You know, but like just as a movie, as an action movie, you know, just as like I did with the Brandon Fraser Mummy movie, maybe I'd give it a bronze. So if I had to crown a victor as far as a horror movie goes, I'd have to give it to the original. Only because of it being more related to horror than action.
Okay.
So as
You agree?
As horror movies go, that's where I go.
Absolutely.
Well, that's 2-1, so it doesn't matter what I think.
As far as which movie I would actually want to sit down and watch on any given day at any given time, 99.
Yeah, me same here though. I'd rather watch the 99 version.
Doesn't mean it's a better movie.
That movie is just so full of adventure and
It's just a good movie.
It's
whimsy.
Yeah.
Not really whimsy, but
pacing is perfect in it. Its beats are perfect. The story progresses the way a story should progress.
And I like Brandon Fraser.
yeah. My only complaint with it is that it's a little overlong.
Yeah.
It does feel a little drawn out, but
I'll watch 90s Kevin Costner movies on purpose. So long movies don't bother me.
All right.
Next week
So-
we're watching Waterworld.
yeah, I'm coming back. baby.
Original wins.
I would say because this is a horror movie thing, I would give it to the original.
All right. There you have it.
Get at us.
On Twitter at ScreamFiends, YouTube, iTunes,
Patreon.
Google Play, Patreon.com/ScreamFiends.
YouTube.
Donate if you would like. You do not have to.
It's always going to be free.
7voltmedia.com. You can find this show and all the other shows. Our people like Jason do. Jason hosts Tower Radio. He is also on Zero XP Podcast and makes
I'm a recurring
are you-
guest on FAP.
on Freedom Anime and Professional Wrestling.
Let us know how you guys feel about me being on Scream Fiends. I'd like to know what you guys have to say.
Yeah.
Send me all your hate mail. I will relish in it all.
Thank you to Brandon Carr
It's close enough. Yep, thank you
for donating.
Thank you to the
Patreon.
Dance Commander.
Thanks, Brandon.
Dance Commander.
Look for your postcard in the mail.
Yep. Gotta get the address.
And other than that, from us at Scream Fiends, so long and farewell.